My name is Ross Collins, or Clint, or actually it's both. My name is Ross, but I've been called Clint my entire life. It's part of my middle name. It's a little weird. I wouldn't think I'd have to explain this to you, but since our class is kind of merging with the social networking aspects of each of our lives, if we're posting to YouTube, then you'll probably see what I go by, which would be Clint. I don't really know why my parents decided to call me by part of my middle name rather than my first name because I think Clint is a terrible name for a baby. But that's what we got. So Ross, Clint, whatever you'd like is fine. Just don't call me late for dinner. That's a horrible joke. I'm sorry I said it. Anyway, I just wanted to introduce myself as part of our introduction project in speech class. Part of the project is a part where we're asked to present an item that we hold very dear. I actually have an entire house full of junk. That's kind of part of being a nerd and a pack rat. You just kind of accumulate a lot of things, whether these things are something that I hold dear with an emotional bond is probably not accurate, but there are a couple of things. I'd like it to be something cool, like maybe this alligator head, or even this Lego DeLorean from Back to the Future, complete with Marty McFly, flux capacitor. It's actually not. What I hold dear, if anything at all, other than this computer that I'm using for this video, is this framed poster I have for it's a metal band's last show. This band was HIMSA, if you can't tell, and these guys were sort of heroes of mine. Well, not that I emulated them personally, but they were my favorite band in high school, and they were based out of Seattle. And what this means to me a lot is that it's a connection between myself and a couple of friends that I still have from back home, which is small town Alabama. And we were huge fans of this band. Anyway, I joined the Navy in 2007, and I was immediately stationed in Whidbey Island, Washington, which is fairly close to Seattle. I was actually kind of excited. That was one of the first thoughts of mine, is that, hey, I'm going to be in HIMSA's backyard. So I was fortunate enough to see the band a few times play in places like Tallahassee, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, a few times before I was up there in Seattle. And a club I used to like to go to down in Seattle that showed metal and punk rock shows was the El Corazon. And not long after I got stationed up there and returned from deployment, I found out that the band was actually breaking up and that their last show was going to be at the El Corazon. Well, needless to say, I had to go. And I made the trip down, and it was an amazing show for a lot of reasons. A lot of Seattle's a lot of people from Seattle's metal and punk rock and hardcore scenes came out to see a band that, if I'm speaking objectively, because sometimes I'll think about, what if I had never heard that band before? Not even that great a band, but what they meant for the scene out of Seattle was a lot. They kind of opened up a lot of doors for metal bands in a town that was more or less known for alternative rock and things like that. And anyway, so I went to the show, and it was probably one of the greatest shows I've ever been to, live shows I've ever been to in my life. And I was fortunate enough to snag one of these posters, and I got the lead singer John Pettibone and a couple of the other guys from the band to actually sign this for me. They gave me this, and they gave me a few other just kind of knickknacks. And these are things that I still have, and so of course I got it framed. This this frame that the poster is in is actually behind the same glass that the U.S. Constitution is behind, according to the guy who sold me this frame. But anyway, that's kind of one thing that says a lot about me. No matter what, people come into my home and they see this, and it's, they start asking about it, and I'm glad to share this story, and I was glad to share it with you. And anyway, so Ross, Clint, whatever you'd like to call me, that's a little bit about me. So thanks for watching.